While I was making my week 4 takeaways, I had almost more difficulties than last week and the week before because it was just, I feel like, a pretty normal week. I didn't feel like anything really happened that was super out of the ordinary. Biggest thing, in my opinion, was the first COVID problem. Now, I know you, like me, you're probably sick about hearing about COVID every 12 seconds when it comes to sports, but I feel like this one is one that has to be talked about because it's less of COVID itself and it's more of the problem it poses for the future of the NFL. Obviously, it's about the Titans. Now, at first, I felt bad for him because honestly, it's a pretty random thing and it's hard to, really know if you're truly avoiding it. And, it's, again, extremely hard to tell. You have to take the test because some people don't even show symptoms. So whatever, that's fine. If you guys had it, and so then they had to get a sucky bye week, and then, they had to delay their game. And I was like, that's not ideal, but it's whatever. I didn't think of it anything. But then their cases just kept going up, and then they were seen having practice at a high school field, which is against the rules. Now, I didn't feel, like I said, I felt bad for him at first. But now I'm just kind of like, it's frustrating because it's one of those things where it's like the NFL has policies about this. They knew what they should have done, and the NFL just came out today and said that they told them that they aren't allowed to hold practices again because their cases aren't going down. Yet then they held an off-facility thing, which is even more against the rules. So the Titans just took something that was bad for them and now made it to where everyone hates them for it because they're single-handedly putting the NFL at stake. And honestly, I think they should be required to forfeit their game against the Bills in week 5 because of it. I mean, not only now they delayed one game, but they're probably delaying a second game and partially due to their negligence. To me, that's their fault, and they need repercussions for it. And the NFL just, did go over and be like, hey, we are going to be able to penalize you if you break the rules by taking draft picks, fines, and things like that. And they've said they're exploring forfeiture as a type of punishment. Honestly, I just think that they need to use the Titans as an example. They went out of their way to break the rules, and I think they should be punished for it. So my next takeaway was the Colts defense. Now, I'd already kind of talked about it, but I think that this win against the Bears finally puts them on the map, so to speak. I mean, it put them on like number 10 in every power rankings because it was a legitimate win. They hadn't faced great competition. Now, even though it wasn't great competition, their defense showed up in an unbelievable way. I mean, they're literally the number 1 defense in the NFL, and it's not really close right now. And don't get me wrong. I get that the Bears are a defensive team, okay? So they don't score 40 points a game anyway. But the fact of the matter was still they're 3-0. So that means they have to score on offense. So then you put all that together and you're like, holy crap, they basically only allowed them to score 3 points. That technically they scored 11, but I mean, the last drive was a garbage time touchdown against Colts prevent defense with 2 minutes left. And, I really think just prevent is like the stupidest thing on the planet, especially in a game like this where the reason the Colts won this game was their defense. Their offense played all right, but it was all their defense. So why then would you make your defense stop doing the thing it's doing so good just because you think it's, safer? I mean, the Colts had not really given up any big plays except that one freak of nature catch to Allen Robinson. And there's 2 minutes left. They have to get 2 scores. It's just stupid. I mean, I really agree. The great John Madden once said, all a prevent defense does is prevent you from winning. And honestly, I kind of agree because it's just like it makes your team look worse. Garbage time touchdowns. I mean, it makes the stats because now this game that should have been 19-3 and a 19-11, and it's like that's just stupid. The Colts basically held them to 3 points. In my mind, they did, but then the Colts were like, "Hey, we'll give you a touchdown and let you kill clock." I don't know. I'll probably make a video about it at some point. I'm not a big fan of prevent. I just think it's stupid and awful, especially from a fan's perspective. Regardless of all of that, I think this game finally put the Colts up there in the AFC, or not even necessarily up there, but it showed that they're going to be a contender. This week against the Browns obviously is a big week for them. If they can shut down that offense, which recently, has been clicking. They scored almost 50 points last week. So if they can slow down that offense, I think that'll be a good testament as to what the Colts can be, and that'll really put them as a contender instead of just this sort of sleeper pick right in the middle ground between a Super Bowl contender and just a playoff hopeful. So my next takeaway is that Aaron Rodgers is still on this unbelievable revenge tour, so to speak. I mean, no Adams, no Lazard. Scantling was trying to drop every single football in his vicinity. And yet Rodgers only missed 6 passes, threw for 4 touchdowns, and had over 300 yards. He's playing football at a level I haven't really ever seen many quarterbacks play at. I mean, you just look at his numbers for the year. He's got 13 touchdowns with no turnovers, the best quarterback rating, and yet he hasn't played with his number 1 receiver for 2 weeks now. So he's still showing, hey, I'm the best quarterback in the league, even when I don't have my best weapon. And then his number 2 receiver was out, and his number 3 receiver just looked awful. And to me, again, I'm going back. I said I think he's the best quarterback in football right now. And people are going to bring up, inevitably, Russell Wilson and Josh Allen, which I think are both great examples of people who are also playing good. I just think he's on a different level right now. Allen got Diggs. His O-line's playing better. The team had been working to build around him. I truly believe that. Similar to the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, he's been in the same offense for his whole career under Pete Carroll. Him and Pete Carroll, they're finally starting to get things going. They get him DK Metcalf, and now the offense is really starting to fluctuate, as well as the offensive line is finally playing like a not bottom 10. They're playing like, middle of the pack, but still, regardless. So they got things added to their team. While Aaron Rodgers got a first-round backup quarterback, a second-round running back, and an already great committee with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams and Tyler Ervin, and then they get him. I don't get it. I really just don't understand how he's playing so well. Everything is going against him. The Packers basically said, hey, look, we're going to phase you out. We're drafting a first-round quarterback. Yet now he's playing one of the best opening stretches of football any quarterback has ever played. I mean, here's just a great example. That Monday night game against the Falcons, if I asked you who Robert Tonyan was a week ago, you couldn't tell me unless you're a diehard Indiana State fan. But yet, he was Aaron Rodgers' best receiver on Monday. 3 touchdowns and 100 yards. It is crazy to me. Aaron Rodgers can make a bum off the street look like a best player in the league. And it's something, I always give a lot of credit for Manning for, especially when they went to the Broncos. Everyone's like, oh, Julius Thomas is such a great tight end. I mean, look what he did with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's just probably in the system. It's way more of Julius Thomas than Peyton Manning. And then he went to the Jaguars, did absolutely nothing, and retired. That's what Aaron Rodgers looks like to me right now. He's a man now who is at ease with himself, and he just wants to step on everyone's throat in football. And honestly, their offense is one of my favorite offenses to watch because, man, if they want to score, they just will. I mean, they're averaging 37 points a game right now, which is best in the league, and it's unbelievable to me. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do come later in the season. And my last one is one basically everyone's talking about. After Bill O'Brien got fired from the Texans, everyone was like, okay, Adam Gase is next. He's the other coach of an awful team who's set them up to be awful. But then there was nothing. It was just quiet, the West thing, I can't remember what it's called. Just, it was like a ghost town. No one in that front office was saying anything. And then and that's after losing to a Broncos team without their 2 best players on offense on the team, being Cortland Sutton, Von Miller, without their starting quarterback, Drew Lock, onto their 3rd string, Brett Rippon. And then yet, you have 3 turnovers on defense, and you still lose. They forced 3 turnovers against a 3rd string quarterback, and then they lose. I'm not even really exaggerating when I say I think the Jets are possibly the worst team I've ever seen play football. Because don't get me wrong, the 0-16 Browns were bad, but I mean a lot of that was just like miscues at the last second. I always think of that Chargers game where they botched the snap, and it's things like that. That's why the Browns would lose. They at least were trying to win. I don't really think the Jets are trying to win. I think they just are miserable. I've never seen a team so hopeless in the NFL. It's not even like they're tanking for Trevor. It's just like they're tanking because they don't know how to win. They've just forgot how to win. It's crazy to me. I mean, they just have no identity. You trade away your best player in the offseason in Jamal Adams. CJ Mosley opt out due to COVID concerns. So their 2 best players on defense are out. And their team just doesn't have their injury report's a mile long. Greg Williams is a dirtbag. Adam Gase is just incompetent. And I just feel bad for Darnold. I mean, you don't choose where you get drafted. It's not his fault he was good in college and now is getting punished for it. I mean, I think they're the worst organization in football right now. And I know a lot of people are going to say the Giants are bad too, but at least the Giants have talent at certain positions. Really just starting to think the Jets, even if they have talent, they're just they're just dead. Like literally dead. It's sad almost to watch Jets games. It just kind of makes me sad because they're just that bad. Yeah, that's my video. Sorry for waiting till Thursday to upload. I had a busy week in school this week, but I'll try to. I'm gonna get 3 videos out this week still, regardless. So yeah, subscribe, like the video, say what you think about everything. How Adam Gase still has a job. How well the Colts are gonna do in the postseason, if they'll have any success at all. And yeah, thanks for watching.